All right, good evening. Thank you for joining us. This is Faye D'Souza. We're having a conversation about petrol prices, petrol, diesel, LPG, all of it together, right? I must tell you before we get started that we had asked Bhaskar Ghosh of the BJP to join us. He had agreed yesterday. He cancelled last minute. He has not agreed. No one from the BJP has agreed to join us today because apparently Dhanteras is the reason why they're refusing to talk about petrol prices. But that's not going to stop us because we still have to register what's going on in the country. So what we're going to do instead is, as of the 1st of November, Mr. Amit Malviya, who is the head of the BJP's IT cell, has put out a column in First Post where and it's titled, "Why Blaming the Modi Government for Rising Energy Cost is Unfair." He's made a couple of arguments. I'm going to read out a few of those arguments and then we're going to take apart these arguments and see whether they actually hold water. So first of all, he has argued that the base price of fuel is global prices, and the global prices are going up, and that is why that's the fundamental reason why prices are going up in India. That's reason number one. Reason number two he talks about is the fact that state governments also charge tax on fuel, and state governments also need that money, and that is why taxes have been going up. The taxes are high, and we are basically seeing high prices of fuel. He's also made the argument that basically the money that the government is charging on excess duty, which contributes in 2021 3.7 lakh crore rupees, is being used, and I quote, judiciously for the fiscal space to basically build social and economic infrastructure. So basically the government is building toilets, electricity, clean cooking fuel, large network of modern highways, expressways, metros, railways, water supply, sewage treatment infrastructure. It needs the money. That's what it's being used for. Plus response measures during the COVID pandemic and free food and LPG refills for people during the COVID pandemic. That's what the money is being needed for. And he also talks about how this government doesn't want to actually use oil bonds like the previous government did because it left a mess that needed to be cleaned up. These are the arguments really that he has made. And that is the reason why he says that the government is being falsely accused of blamed for rising fuel prices. Now, let me take you back to my guests at this point. And I've got guests who will, basically take this now point by point to see how much of it holds water. Joining me right now, Professor Santosh Mehrotra, who's an economist, Rajiv Mishra, who's an RTI activist, Chirag Kataria, General Secretary, Maharashtra for the All India Motor Transport Congress, all join us right now. We're going to talk about a couple of things. One, how much money the government has collected in taxes, it has overshot what it expected to by about 1.5 lakh crore rupees, and why it still needs to collect this much money. Two, the argument that many people from the BJP have given us is that vaccines, you got free vaccines. First of all, were the vaccines entirely free? And how much money did the government actually spend on vaccines vis-a-vis what it has collected on fuel? And does it make sense right now for the government to not borrow this money, but instead tax and hurt the poorest in our country? That's what we're going to look at. Let me first take the question to Santosh Mehrotra, who's our professor of economics, opening out the arguments. Professor, first of all, if you want to just take a look at what Amit Malviya has given as his arguments, and I'll just list them out again. Global price of fuel was the first one. State governments was the second one.
Sorry, I lost you.
Can you hear me now?
Please take the question to someone else.
Okay, all right. Then let me just bring in the citizen voices. I'll bring in.
I don't know why my sound went. Can you?
Okay.
Okay, I can hear you now. Go ahead, please. Okay, sorry, continue.
No, my question
to you
again. Yeah, Professor Mehrotra, my question to you is, do you want to respond to Amit Malviya's article in First Post?
Oh, absolutely. Because every one of his arguments actually doesn't hold water. So let me first begin with his global prices thing.
Yes.
Please remember that when this government came to power, just before that, global prices were in the region of $140 to $120, somewhere between 120 and 140. And yet, the government of India was managing to sell petrol just at 70 rupees a litre. And diesel was much less than that, much less. So quite clearly, there's something wrong in the planning and the economics that the government of India practices, and I'll come back to that in a minute, what happened is that this government got a massive windfall gain because global oil prices fell just as it came to power. It has had a 7-year windfall of low global oil prices. And hence it has been able to laugh its way to the bank. It has been able to pay off the oil bonds. The previous government of India had to take had to borrow to be able to meet that deficit because international oil prices were there. So don't tell us now that we are having to pay off the global ones. You are paying off because the oil prices fell. You got a windfall, point one. Point two, they claim state government taxes are also responsible. Central taxes are actually more than double state taxes as a share of the total taxes. For instance, at the petrol pump, including the commission of the agent, of the dealer, is only about 35 rupees. Price is 110 rupees. And state taxes are a fraction of central taxes. Who's raising the prices? It's the center. It's the center. And there is a reason why it needs to raise these taxes, because it has done so badly on revenue collection so far, a subject that I will come back to in a minute. Thirdly, you rightly pointed out that they've collected in 1 year 3.7 lakh crores, which they are saying they're spending on social and economic infrastructure. What about direct taxes? What about indirect taxes? What about GST? What about customs? Why are you relying, unlike any other government, on petrol and diesel? I'll explain to you why they are having to take this, go on raising prices, because it's the easiest way of collecting taxes. And the foundational reason is that even before COVID broke, long before COVID broke, because of the economic mismanagement of this government, its revenues were falling, and yet it was hell-bent on consolidating its fiscal deficit. And why did it, and who told them that just before 2019 elections, in the budget of 2019, literally a month before the elections, who told them to raise the personal income tax threshold from 2.5 lakhs, after which people start paying personal income tax, to 5 lakhs in that budget? No government of the world who knows any public finance will tell you that that's the way forward. By doing that, by raising the threshold from 2.5 lakhs to 5 lakhs, what this government did was to take out about 75% of the personal income tax payers. There was no reason for it to do it, because the world over, what happens is that the threshold is kept stable, constant, and as people's incomes rise, they begin to pay a certain amount of tax. Can you imagine if you earn 3 lakhs when the threshold was 2.5 lakhs and your income was 3 lakhs, you'd be paying tax only on 50,000 rupees, 3 lakhs minus 2.5.
Yes, yes.
And on 50,000, the first slab, 5%. What's 5% of 50,000? That's 2,500 rupees. For God's sake, anyone can pay that. This is not the only reason that they are having to do this. 6 months after winning the elections, they actually cut the corporate tax rate. Why did they cut the corporate tax rate from 30% to 25% overnight? And finally, and I'm going to stop with that, they could easily today impose a surcharge on the super rich as far as personal income tax is concerned, which is a temporary COVID surcharge they can impose. And secondly, they should impose a surcharge on corporate tax. So COVID is a once in a lifetime, once in a century situation. They can mobilize the resources if they wanted to. They don't want to because this is the easiest way of collecting taxes.
I just want to point out that this year, the government, from its total collection of taxes on its estimate, is going to make 1.5 lakh crore rupees more than it had estimated in the budget. That's a lot of money. And also, the government had argued that, and many BJP people had argued that free vaccines is the reason why the government is collecting money on petrol. Let me point out to you, in the union budget, the money allocated to vaccinations was 35,000 crore rupees.
Right.
So that was already allocated. You already budgeted for that. What are you making extra money on it for? And also, India borrowed loans from the Asian Development Bank and from other international banks in order to fund its vaccine, its vaccine campaign. So you've got money you've allocated from the budget. You've borrowed money from other banks. Plus, there is the glorious PM CARES fund, which we don't know what is it and where that money is being used for yet. What you're doing effectively is taxing the poorest of our country and hurting the poorest of our country. I want to bring in Chirag Kataria. The reason why we bring in the Truckers Association is because that is where the pain is really felt. And it goes from the Truckers Association to everybody else. So, Chirag, every time we have spoken, you've said, "Isse zyada nahi seh payenge." But since that, it has gotten much, much worse. Where is the breaking point for the Truckers Association?
So right now, I'll say there was last year still there was a survival, but and this year we don't even see any survival. And as I told you, 80% of the truckers who dominate the industry are Chalak Kam Malak, and these people like Chalak Kam Malak means they themselves are the owner, and the truck drivers and the truck owner themselves. And these people have less than 5 truck, or most of the people have only single truck. And all these players, they work under small transporters, or they have fixed MNC contracts. And how it is affecting us, I'll just give a little brief about how this diesel price is affecting us and what's happening with the current scenario. So what happens, as we have seen the 7 days, the continuous rise in the diesel price, which is almost close to 2 rupees 62 paise, sorry, precisely. So every day by 33 paise, the diesel price is increasing. And if somebody some transport is is moving from X location to the Y, let's calculate from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, which is 3,500 kilometers. And a truck takes almost 8 to 9 days to reach that destination. If that driver would have started truck 8 days ago, and the average, the fuel cost comes around 90,000 rupees. But when he's reaching Kanyakumari, the fuel cost is close to 1 lakh rupees. Sida 10,000 rupees ka increment ho jata. That is because of the everyday increment in the fuel price, which is again 33 paise every day. So that is 2 rupees 62 paise in 7-8 days. So this is how that, and again we transport, as I told you, these people are working hard and really working hard since 10 years, 15 years, and still they have not become an organized player or truck owner themselves. They have only single truck. So definitely we can see that there is very less margin there for a transporter, hardly 3 to 4%. But when this daily.
Chirag, ek baat bataiye, that 10,000 rupees increment, you're saying somebody leaves from Kashmir, he's going all the way to Kanyakumari. Where will that 10,000 rupees come from? Will he charge the end customer who's receiving?
No, he can't charge, because when he loads the truck, the freight is fixed. So, for an example, if you're giving me an order today itself, it's 2nd of November. So we fix the freight. Okay, आज का हमारा freight होगा 90,000 rupees from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, and then we freeze. And वो freight पे, and there is a LR copy, then e-way bill has been updated, GST has been updated, and a lot of documents have been done, and that freight is fixed now. And we decide that freight because of the current diesel price. And now when this guy is traveling to Kanyakumari, which takes 8 to 9 days, usko almost 2 rupees 62 paise increase ho gaya after 1 liter. And he has to travel 3,500 kilometers. That straight away is 8,000 rupees, 7,500 rupees. So yahin pe uska badh gaya. And again, when he is traveling from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, he has to fill the fuel at least 6 to 7 times in the journey. And he has to go through different states. So for example, I just jotted it down right now only. So for example, if somebody is traveling from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, he has to go through Delhi. Then Jammu se start karta is 99 rupees per liter. Delhi it's 98 rupees per liter. MP is 108 rupees per liter. Nagpur is 104 rupees per liter. Hyderabad is 107 rupees per liter, Karnataka is 104 rupees per liter, and Tamil Nadu is 102 rupees per liter. So he himself doesn't know कि कौन से डीजल प्राइस को करके वो अपना फ्रेट डिसाइड करेगा. So what the normally transporters do is एक एवरेज पकड़ लिया कि ठीक है हमें 8-9 जगह से डीजल भराना है, उसका एवरेज होता है 103 रुपीस पर लीटर एंड उसके हिसाब से चार्ज द फ्रेट. बट 103 रुपीस की जगह पे व्हेन द कॉस्ट गोज टू 105 or 6 rupees a liter, that is the where the transporter dies, and that's why we all are suffering right now. As I told you, okay, last year फिर भी it was a survival, but this year looking at the diesel price, we don't see any survival. Customers are not paying us increment. This is about the non-contracted transport. Now what happens in our contracted transporters business also, उसमें क्या होता है कि we have a contract of a year, 1 year contract होता है, and there is a clause which is like, if diesel increases by 5%, then only we will get an increment. Every 5% we have to ask for the approval, we have to send the request, and the logistics department will see the documents, they'll verify the diesel price, and they will give us approval after 15 to 20 days. Until that approval is given to us, we have to work on the same freight. So as we are saying, recently today also an article was there in the Economic Times where in 17 months, diesel price has increased close to 48%. In 17 months, 17 महीनों में हमारा diesel price 48% से बढ़ गया है. So it is like कि every 2 months we have to put up for approval, और वो approval को पास होने के लिए हमें 1 महीना लग जाता है. So who's going to bear that loss? Because diesel price is nothing we can control. That's what we keep asking the government कि आप diesel price बढ़ा रहे हो, make it a quarterly increment कि every quarter you increase the price, keep it 100 rupees, 120 rupees, we don't mind, but have it a quarterly raise in the diesel price. Because right now what is happening, हम लोग contract renew करने जाएंगे, उसके पहले उसका diesel price वापस बढ़ गया. And what government is doing, they are increasing 33 पैसे. What we have seen in the 7 days also. एक साथ में 2 रुपए बढ़ा दो, so that we can fight for our rights. We can ask our customers के सर 2 रुपए बढ़ गए. Now what is happening? 33 पैसे बढ़ गए, मैंने approval के लिए दे दिया. Again after 3-4 days 33 पैसे बढ़ जाएंगे. Again I have to put up approval, and we can't keep doing this, right? And this is how the government is fooling us. This is what we feel the government is playing with us, playing with the transporters. And as we all know that transporters are the backbone of the country. आज अगर जो government has a project of like $5 trillion economy बनाना है, तो backbone को आपको संभालना है, because we are the one who transport everything, made of pharma, raw material, hardware, everything, textile, we take care of everything. We are the one who were fighting in the COVID also. Our truck drivers were on the road and delivering oxygen cylinders, medicines, and everything was taken care by us. We also demanded government, okay, you have so much money, at least vaccinate our truck drivers. Even that was not considered. That request was not considered by the government, and none of our truck drivers were given free vaccination. So I really doubt where the money is going and why government is collecting so much money. And in fact, so much, we are the transporters are the one who's paying such a big amount. As you see, the consumption of the diesel by the trucks is almost close to 60%. We are the one who is consuming 60% of the diesel. So at least we should get some benefits. Government should at least there should be some subsidy for the transporter. Here we are taking all the burden on us and still no respect, no justice to us.
I come back to, I just want to bring in Rajiv Mishra, who's an RTI activist. Mishra ji, अगर आप सरकार की बहुत सारे ऐसे आर्ग्यूमेंट्स आए हैं, बीजेपी भाजपा की काफी मिनिस्टर्स ने कहा कि आपने तो फ्री में वैक्सीन लिया, फ्री में वैक्सीन के कौन पैसे भरेगा, सरकार ने फ्री में तो अनाज बांटा है लोगों को. उन्होंने ये भी कहा, मिस्टर पुरी ने कहा, हम अभी बायलैटरली अपने काउंटर पार्ट से बात करके ग्लोबल प्राइसेस हम घटाएंगे, लेकिन डोमेस्टिक प्राइस और डोमेस्टिक टैक्स घटाने की बात अभी तक नहीं आई. आपको क्या लग रहा है कि ये पैसे कहाँ जा रहे हैं, राजीव मिश्रा जी?
फिर सबसे पहले तो मैं आपको एक बात बता दूं कि आपको शायद याद होगा कि जब एवरीडे के प्राइस इंडेक्स की बात आई थी कि एवरीडे प्राइस डिसाइड होगा, उस वक्त भी हम लोग डिबेट पे बैठे थे, आप हमारे साथ थी. उस वक्त मैंने ये कहा था कि ये एक ऐसा पॉइजन है जो आपके शरीर में इंजेक्ट किया जाता रहेगा, लेकिन आप विरोध भी नहीं कर पाएंगे, क्योंकि ये एवरीडे ये 10 पैसा 5 पैसा 10 पैसे का खेल खेलेंगे और एक दिन आपको इसका एक बड़ा भुगतान करना पड़ेगा. और आज वो बात आपको फिर शायद सत्य दिखाई दे रही होगी, क्योंकि जिस वक्त हम लोग उस वक्त बैठे थे उस वक्त 60 रुपए के आसपास डीजल की प्राइस और आज 105 रुपए 104 रुपए के नजदीक पहुंच गई है. तो आपको याद होगा जो मैंने कहा था. दूसरी बात आपको मैं बता रहा हूं कि आप एक चीज समझिए कि जो बीजेपी के लोग तर्क देते हैं कि इसमें सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट का कोई दोष नहीं है। उनको तो सबसे पहले 2013 की अपनी खुद की जितने भी पार्टी के लीडर्स थे उनके आंदोलन, उनके स्पीचेस को देखना चाहिए और तब उनको ये जवाब देने का। सबसे बड़ी बात है कि ये बेशर्म हो चुके हैं, इनमें बेशर्मी की हद पार कर दी है। इनको कुछ भी नहीं पता कि 6 साल पहले ये क्या बोला करते थे और आज इनका स्टेटमेंट क्या हो रहा है। मतलब इनके पास कोई एथिक्स नहीं। अगर एथिक्स होता था तो उनको ये मालूम होता था कि जब हम सामने वाले पर उंगली उठाते थे तो आज हमको भी उसका जवाब देना चाहिए। लेकिन आज वो जिस बेशर्मी के साथ आपका सामना करते हैं या जवाब देने के वक्त एक रिजिडनेस दिखाते हैं, उस पर मेरा बहुत आश्चर्य है कि ऐसे जनप्रतिनिधियों के खिलाफ भी आज लोग एकत्र नहीं हो पा रहे हैं। अभी आपको मैं बताऊं, जो वो बोल रहे हैं कि इन्होंने बहुत सारा काम किया है, तो मैं आपको 2-3 आंकड़े बताता हूं। एक आंकड़ा है हंगर इंडेक्स का। हंगर इंडेक्स में इस देश का पहली बार ये दुर्भाग्य बना है कि हम बांग्लादेश, श्रीलंका और पाकिस्तान से भी नीचे चले गए हंगर इंडेक्स। दूसरा आपको मैं एक आंकड़ा देता हूं, जो आंकड़ा ये कहता है कि गरीब लोगों में और मध्यम वर्गीय लोगों में सुसाइड के आंकड़े बढ़े हैं, उनके यहाँ आत्महत्या की संख्या बढ़ी है और ये इकोनॉमिकल क्राइसिस के चलते बढ़ा है। ये आंकड़े भी सामने आए हैं। तीसरा, अगर आप उदाहरण देखेंगी तो एम्प्लॉयमेंट प्रभावित हुआ है। आप मेरे को बताओ पे, जिन आम आदमियों का आप खून चूस रहे हो पर डे, पेट्रोल से, डीजल से, महंगाई से, सारी चीजों से, उन्हीं आम आदमियों की सबसे जरूरी चीजें जो होती हैं, भुखमरी। अभी आप सोचो पे, भुखमरी में आप विकास कर रहे हो। अगर आप बेरोजगारी में आपका विकास स्तर बढ़ रहा है, अगर आपका विकास स्तर सोसाइटी में बढ़ रहा है, तो आप सोचो आप हमको कौन सा विकास दे रहे हो। ये आम आदमी के डे टू डे लाइफ से जुड़ी हुई चीज है। पे अभी ट्रक एसोसिएशन के रूप में चिराग ने आपको बहुत ही तरीके से टेक्निकली ये बता दिया कि इसमें कितने कितने प्रॉब्लम है। मुझे आश्चर्य से इस बात का है कि चिराग जैसे लोग उस वक्त क्यों नहीं विरोध किए थे जब इन्होंने पर डे के हिसाब से प्राइस डिसाइड करने का निर्णय लिया था। उस वक्त इनको जरूर करना चाहिए था और इसका अध्ययन करना चाहिए था। दूसरा, मैं आपको बता दूं कि आज के समय में जो चीजें लोगों पे गुजर रही हैं, इनको क्या है, ये तो अपने घर में बैठे हैं, इनको कहीं ना कहीं पे आप इनको अगर देखेंगी तो बीजेपी के जितने भी नेता थे या कार्यकर्ता हैं, उनके आर्थिक स्थिति में निश्चित तौर पे बढ़ोतरी हुई है। आपको मैं अनेकों उदाहरण दिखा सकता हूं, मेरे खुद के जहां पर मैं रहता हूं उसके अगल बगल के भी उदाहरण दे सकता हूं कि पिछले 6 साल पहले उनकी आर्थिक स्थिति क्या थी, आज उनकी आर्थिक स्थिति क्या है। लेकिन इनकी आर्थिक स्थिति में चूंकि उत्थान हो रहा है, या इनके जो, मैं आपको बोलूं कि इनके जो समर्थक लोग हैं उनके साथ जो आर्थिक स्थिति में उनको जो फायदा हो रहा है, उसका एक गैर फायदा लेते हुए ये लोग आज सोशल मीडिया पे, व्हाट्सएप पे एक यूनिवर्सिटी जो चला रहे हैं जिसमें ये अपने आप को डिफेंड कर रहे हैं। और हमको तो दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण बात जो लगती है कि जो मीडिया हाउसेस, जिन मीडिया हाउसेस के ऊपर इस देश की सबसे बड़ी जिम्मेदारी है, उनको चौथा स्तंभ इसलिए कहा जाता है क्योंकि वो एक ऐसी संस्था है मीडिया जो न्यायपालिका को भी बंदिश लगा सकती है अपने व्यवहार से, अपने आक्रामकता से। न्यायपालिका तक पर भी वो कहीं ना कहीं उंगली उठा सकती है, वो सरकार पर नियंत्रण रख सकती है। आज वही मीडिया, जो मेन स्ट्रीम मीडिया जिसको हम लोग कहते थे, आप भी मिरर नाउ में थी पे, आपको याद होगा, ये सब मेन स्ट्रीम मीडिया थे। आज इनका आप पॉलिसी देख लीजिए क्या हो गया। ये आपसे अगर आप क्वेश्चन कर रही है गवर्नमेंट से, तो ये डिफेंड करते हैं गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से मीडिया होकर के, जबकि इनका काम था गवर्नमेंट से प्रश्न करना। जब मीडिया का सपोर्ट नहीं मिलेगा फिर तो आंदोलन खड़ा नहीं होता है। आंदोलन खड़ा होने के लिए मीडिया सपोर्ट बहुत जरूरी होता है। और यही कारण है कि यह आज जो लोगों को लगता है कि नहीं लोग बहुत ठीक हैं, कोई विरोध नहीं कर रहे हैं, ऐसी बात नहीं है। फिर लोग जल रहे हैं, जल इतने रहे हैं कि लोग सुसाइड कर रहे हैं। लेकिन उनको तकलीफ यह है कि वो अगर किसी जगह पे निकलते हैं तो आज मीडिया जो है उनके अगेंस्ट में ज्यादा बात करती है और सरकार के अगेंस्ट में कम। इस कारण से आंदोलन टूट रहे हैं, आंदोलन हो नहीं पा रहे हैं। वरना हर कोई आज बेचैन है पे। अगर आप देखने जाइए तो पकौड़ा तलने की इन्होंने एक रोजगार देने की बात कही थी। आज कॉमर्शियल सिलेंडर पे, कल का बात मैं बता रहा हूं पे, एक साथ 266 रुपए इन्होंने बढ़ाए हैं, 266 रुपए। मतलब पकौड़ा तलने के लायक भी लोगों को नहीं छोड़ना चाहते हैं। ये कहते तो बहुत कुछ है, पकौड़ा तलने की जिम्मेदारी तो दे दिए लोगों को, लेकिन पकौड़ा तलने जिस पे तला जाता है उसको ऐसा कर दिए कि अब उस घर से भी, पकौड़ा तलने वालों के घर से भी इनको पैसा चाहिए होता है। मतलब आज के समय में फिर मैं इतना जरूर कहूंगा कि जो कुछ भी है इसमें हम लोग सबसे बड़े दोषी हैं, क्योंकि हम सड़कों पर आकर करके अपने अंदर का आक्रोश व्यक्त नहीं कर पा रहे हैं। हम मर तो जा रहे हैं, हम सुसाइड तो कर ले रहे हैं और किसी की सुसाइड पर किसी को कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ रहा है। लेकिन याद रखना फिर आज न कल ये दौर हर किसी के घर आना है।
Let me just bring in Professor Mehrotra again. Professor, that is one of the arguments that is coming in, that people are sort of just taking it. We're not really seeing too much of a problem on the streets. There aren't as many protests. One remembers a time when UPA 2 was in power, when there was serious protests on the road against the price of petrol, against the price of LPG. Commercial LPG recently was increased by 250 rupees. We know that the domestic LPG cylinder, which is what is used primarily to cook food for families, is now almost 1,000 rupees a cylinder. Also, just to explain to our audience how government finances are in fact structured, when the government says that, you know, we're building roads, we're building infrastructure, we're giving food to people, isn't all of this budgeted for in the union budget under specific heads? This is all money that is budgeted and accounted for if these are plans of government, right? You're on mute.
Yeah. I was. You're absolutely right. 100% right. In fact, these things are all budgeted for, and so then you may well put the next question to me: what is it that is new expenditure that they are having to undertake within the last year, which they are trying to now mobilize resources for? So first of all, it's true that the economy contracted during COVID, so their revenues collapsed. Now, the economy contracted for the rest of the world as well, but our economy contracted the worst. It was the worst contraction among the emerging market economies and the G20 countries. Why? Because we mismanaged the lockdowns last year and we didn't give the kind of fiscal stimulus that we should have, and therefore our economy collapsed, therefore their revenues are even down further. The only additional expenditure that they are having to undertake is COVID vaccines and a little bit on temporary COVID hospital beds that were created, which were almost all dismantled because we had won the war against COVID in January, as the Prime Minister told the whole world. But that is why we were caught with our pants down when the second wave hit with it. So, point being that their revenues collapsed because of their own mismanagement. Now, in the last year, one of the new things that has happened is the Chinese have been attacking us. The Chinese have been threatening our borders. So last winter, we had to put many more of our military and our air force up in the mountains, and we had to equip them. They have to be funded. New equipment had to be bought for them. This year, the same preparation is going on because the Chinese have continued to threaten us. My inside information is that one reason that they are continuously mobilizing resources is so that they can fund that. But why can't they fund the same thing, as I said in my earlier intervention, by a surcharge on which is a COVID surcharge on the super rich, with a surcharge on corporate taxes? The same revenues can be collected, more revenues can be collected, in fact, and it would be much better to do it because the way this government is collecting it has had the following effect, and I will come back to the pakoda and the poverty and in a second.
Yeah.
Within the last year alone, because of the way they have cut direct taxes, or rather last 2 years, they've cut direct taxes, and they are mobilizing revenue from CNG, PNG, diesel and petrol. What has happened is that the historical pattern in our country was that the share of direct taxes, meaning personal income tax and corporate taxes, had been rising, was higher than the share of indirect taxes, meaning from GST, from alcohol, from etc., and from petrol, diesel. What has happened is that we are now in a situation where direct taxes has overwhelmed indirect taxes, and direct tax of the central government is now at 5.5% of GDP, which is a 4-year high, and indirect taxes have shrunk to 4.8% of GDP, which is a 15-year low. A 15-year low. So you can see what the strategy is. The strategy is to extract from the middle class and the lower middle class and the poor. And I want to close by taking you back to the Pakoda employment point. You know what the Prime Minister had said in 2018 in an interview? He said, he put a counter question to this TV interviewer who asked him, कि अगर एक कोई पकौड़ा बनाता है और वो रोज 200 रुपए लेकर के घर जाता है, तो वो क्या रोजगार नहीं है? हाँ, रोजगार है। तो अगर वो मुनाफा कमाता है 200 रुपए रोज और वो 300 दिन काम करता है, तो he gets about 6,000 rupees. ठीक है, 200 into 30 is 6,000 rupees in the month. Now, I have just done an estimate of what the 2019-20 poverty line is, the Tendulkar poverty line, which we used to estimate when I was in the Planning Commission. I'm talking about 11-12. I have obviously, projected forward the poverty line, and projecting forward the poverty line tells us that in rural areas today, that poverty line is 6,100 rupees per month for a family of 5, and in urban areas, it is 7,300 rupees. That means, Mr. Prime Minister, the Pakoda maker is taking back below poverty line income for a family of 5 every month.
Yes.
That's what he calls employment. That's the reason why I want you to know that in the last 8 years, the number of the poor in our country, I have just estimated, has increased by 76 million. 7.5 crore लोग जो गरीबी रेखा से नीचे, तेंदुलकर गरीबी रेखा से नीचे उतर गए हैंगे, और ये कोविड से पहले की बात बता रहा हूं मैं. And this is a first in the history of our estimation of poverty. Never in the history of estimation of poverty in our country for 50 years has there been an increase in the number of the poor.
I want to just quickly ask Chirag, I can see your hand up, Mr. Mishra. I just want to ask Chirag one question. What is the response right now from the Truckers Association to either government or to citizens? What will happen if these prices continue to go up, which is what we should assume will happen because we've not been told anything else?
If this price continues to increase, definitely it will be an auto shutdown, auto strike. So we don't intend to do a strike, but automatically our trucks will be on standstill because, as I told you, I'll also highlight on the cost. So the freight cost, which is the expense cost, I'll tell you, the expense cost of the per kilometer, which is currently close to 45 rupees per kilometer is our expense cost. जिसके अंदर हमारा total costing आ जाता है to travel a truck from X to Y. And now what we are getting because of the हमारा जो freight rate हमने increase नहीं किया, हमारा cost is 45 and we are charging 35 rupees. So on every kilometer close to 8 to 10 rupees a trucker is making a loss. But हम इसको survive नहीं कर पाएंगे. If this continues, definitely maybe in 3-4 months all the truckers would automatically come on a standstill and it will be a चक्का जाम खुद से खुद हो जाएगा. हमें कुछ करने की जरूरत ही नहीं पड़ेगी. And that will definitely disrupt the whole supply chain and हर एक चीज का price increase हो जाएगा. May it be daily essentials, everything, whatever is tangible, visible needs a transport and everything will come on the standstill, and that will definitely affect us very badly. And हर एक चीज का जो price भी बढ़ जाएगा आपके यहाँ पे. So government should definitely look into this and they should stop this price hike. वरना खुद में कुछ standstill हो जाएगा सब कुछ.
मिश्रा जी, हमारे पास 5 मिनट है, अब जल्दी बोल दीजिए इसको।
एक बात मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूँ, मैं मल्होत्रा साहब के बात में मैं एक बात जोड़ता हूँ कि जो वो बोल रहे हैं, आज जितने जो रिचेस्ट लोग, उनको जो सब्सिडी रियल माने में दी जा रही है, अगर उनका आप आकलन करने जाएंगे पे, आप जिस भी जगह पे जाएंगी, मतलब चाहे वो इनकम टैक्स डिपार्टमेंट से हो, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी डिपार्टमेंट से हो, वाटर का हो, हर जगह जो उनको रिलैक्सेशन मिल रहा है, अगर आप उसको कैलकुलेट करेंगी एक वॉल्यूम में, तो आपको मालूम चलेगा फिर कि गरीबों को उस अनुपात में इस देश में कुछ भी नहीं मिल रहा जो अमीरों को दिया जा रहा है। जितनी फैसिलिटी और जितना रेवेन्यू का लॉस अमीरों को सब्सिडी देने में जा रहा है, उसका 5%, 10% भी गरीबों के ऊपर खर्च नहीं हो रहा है। मैं आपको बहुत सारे ऐसे उदाहरण दे सकता हूं, चाहे वो, मतलब मैं बता रहा हूं आपको, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी से लेके, वाटर से लेकर के, प्रॉपर्टी टैक्स से लेके, हर चीज में जिस तरह का फायदा वो लोग उठा रहे हैं, उस पर से आपको अभी कुछ कुछ चीजें ऐसी आई हैं, ऐसी जेड वगैरह करके, कि वहां पर तो आपका कानून भी काम नहीं करता है। उनके लिए इतने स्पेशल प्रोविजन तैयार किए गए हैं कि आपके जो कुछ विशेष कानून है उससे भी उनको वंचित रखा गया कि वो वहां लागू नहीं होगा। आप समझो पे कि अमीरों के लिए जो सुविधाएं दी जा रही है, जो चीजें की जा रही हैं, आपको तो पता है 10 लाख करोड़ रुपए कम से कम बैंक के लोगों ने डुबा दिए हैं। तो उस हिसाब से अगर देखा जाए तो आप गरीबों को दे क्या रहे हैं, जिसको लेकर के इतना बड़ा आप डंका पीट रहे हैं। हमारा कहना केवल पे इतना है कि कुछ भी हो, आज के समय में जो एक लोगों में निराशा है ना, और लोग सड़कों पे नहीं आ रहे हैं, इसी का एक बहुत गलत फायदा सरकार उठा रही है। जब तक आपको तकलीफ है और आप अपना प्रदर्शन नहीं करोगी पे ना, तब तक आपका कोई सुनने वाला नहीं है। ये सोच रहे हैं कि हम सब कुछ करते जा रहे हैं, लोग शांत से सब हमारा हमी को वोट दे रहे हैं। अभी तो वो लोग क्या करते हैं कि चुनाव की जीत को इससे जोड़ देते हैं। मैं बोलता हूं कि चुनाव तो मुख्तार अंसारी भी जीतते थे, फूलन देवी भी जीती हैं, ये साहबुद्दीन भी जीते हैं, चुनाव तो सबने जीता है। तो ये कह दे कि हम बहुत पवित्र आदमी हैं, तो फिर अतीक अहमद को गुंडा क्यों बोलते हैं? वो तो चुनाव जीते हैं। तो आपको फिर कहीं ना कहीं कोई तो एक एथिक्स की बात, एक प्रिंसिपल पे रहना होगा। चुनाव की जीत का मतलब ये नहीं है कि आम आदमी बहुत खुश है, ऐसा नहीं है। लोकतंत्र है, मैं मानता हूं, लेकिन लोकतंत्र में आप जिन जिन फंडों का इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं, आप जिस तरीके से अपना प्रचार कार्य चला रहे हैं मीडिया के थ्रू, या सारे पेट्रोल पंप पर, इवन की कोविड का जो सर्टिफिकेट होता है उसके जरिए आपने क्या छोड़ा है? हर जगह तो प्रचार तंत्र पर आप इस तरीके से अपना खर्च कर रहे हैं। तो ऐसी स्थिति में अगर आपको चुनाव जीत ले रहे हैं, सामने वाला विरोधक अगर आपको मजबूत नहीं मिल रहा है, तो इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि देश बहुत प्रसन्न है।
Professor Mehrotra, very quickly, please.
Very quickly. There is a reaction among the people, and it's showing politically. In every state election post 2019, the BJP's vote share in every state election has fallen. Point one. Point two, there has never been in our political history a time when panchayat elections in a state have been lost by the ruling state government, ruling state party. UP, that's exactly what happened. They lost the UP panchayat elections, they came third. Okay, example two. And final example, today's results, 13 states, 29 seats, both for Lok Sabha as well as for state assemblies, except for Assam, where the BJP has won because there's a honeymoon, obviously. In every other state, they are losing.
Right. I'm going to leave it there, but I will thank the three of you for joining me on this conversation. This is obviously something I feel strongly about. We're going to keep taking a look at it because, like all of our guests have pointed out, when the price of fuel is increased like this, like we've never seen it before in our country, it is the poorest in our country that pay that price. Because the person who has an SUV driving into the petrol pump, it's not going to make that much of a difference to them. The people on the two-wheelers, the people buying milk for their children, the people buying dal, atta, sabzi, that is where it's going to hurt. The people actually driving the trucks, that is where it's going to hurt. The medicines that people buy, that is where it's going to hurt. So you want to be able to give a free ride really to the richest in your country, and you're moving that pain to the poorest. And that is a really, really bad idea. We're going to keep taking a look at this. We're going to keep trying to get someone from the BJP to answer these questions, because They seem to think that they don't have to answer questions in government, but that is not true. They do have to answer questions, and we'll try and get them to answer your questions for you. I thank my guests for joining us on this conversation. For